Jones,
How you guys doing today?
like is the same as always, all's well.
All is well. Well, it's the last week of school. This is it. Welcome. Made it to the end. So, a week from today, we won't be in this room. Now, 2 weeks from today, we'll be taking a final in this room.
Yeah.
This is the last week of us having quality time together to learn, to grow, to heal, to laugh, to cry. Okay, I exaggerate. But anyway, okay, let's get started. By the way, if you're coming in, make sure you grab a sheet. Grab those sheets at the end of the table. Let's start out with some positivity. Who wants to share something cool that you've experienced since we were last together, or something that you're grateful for?
I managed to get an assignment on computer hardware assignment completed, and I got 100 out of it.
You got 100 on an assignment?
Yeah, on computer hardware.
Computer hardware? Outstanding. Congratulations. That is something to be grateful for. Thank you. That is good news.
Thank you very much.
Some good news. Jack, you look, you have some good news. You look, you're bubbling over with good news. What you got?
I really don't have good news.
Okay, something you're grateful for.
My family, I'm still alive today. I think that we're still
That's great. Family, life. I mean, if you don't have life, or you don't have family, health is good too, though. Health is great. There are people in hospital beds right now who are millionaires, but their money is not making them healthy. They're just there. All right, we have a lot to get on, go through, because unless you guys don't want to do a review activity on Thursday, so we're going to get going. I'm going to make these, I don't even want to make the announcements right now.
And how many words that are on this that are going to be on this test?
How many questions?
Yeah, how many?
40.
How many of these words that are going to be on the test?
Oh, that's a very valid question. So, he asked a really good question. He said, how many of the words on that sheet are going to be on the test? Now, normally, all of them. But, because I'm combining test 4 with this test, half. Now, of course, you don't know which half to use. But half of these questions will be on the test. Gary, half of these terms are on the test. Absolutely, 100% guaranteed. Okay? So there you have it. If I run across, sometimes I might say that one's definitely on there, or that one's definitely on there. I may say that one's not on there. I might even give you a few. I'll eliminate some of those. But these are terms that I think is good to know as we study the chapter, or as we begin to dive deeper into the chapter on social psychology, chapter 14. I'm going to tell you today we're going to go over some very interesting topics. I'll make formal announcements at the end when more people in here, but we're going to start out talking about how we are influenced by other people, because that's a part of social psychology. Why we do certain things, why we don't do certain things, is often a result of those around us. So when we're talking about that, the influence that other people have on us, and then we're going to transition into some heavier topics: prejudice, discrimination, and stereotyping, which typically are not good terms. All right, so without further ado, we're just going to dive right in. So as we ended our class on Thursday, we're just discussing some of the topics that take place in social psychology, some of the things that in this field people look at. Do opposites really attract? Does absence make the heart grow fonder? Out of sight, out of mind. What motivates a person to sacrifice themselves for somebody else? What's more important, good looks or personality? Why do I feel compared to wear the same tennis shoes that everybody else wears? All of that, all those questions are things people try to address when they study social psychology. So now let's take a deeper dive and begin with defining the term social psychology, which of course you don't have to worry about writing down, because it's right there.
Scientific study of how people's thoughts, feelings, and actions are affected by others.
Exactly. Social psychology is all about how people's thoughts, their feelings, and actions are affected by others. Excuse me? There's a sheet at the end of the plan. I want to grab that too. So, how people's thoughts, feelings, and actions are affected by others. Often, our thoughts, our feelings, and actions they typically don't just affect us. What you think about, what you do, is going to affect the people around you, unless you were just a hermit and you live in the Amazon jungle by yourself. And even then, what you do is going to affect others. Probably animals, but when you eat, you hunt, you're always with. It really frustrates me sometimes how so many people in this world, this is my opinion, so many people in this world do not understand that we are all connected. Not just people, but life forms. We are all connected. You kill every honeybee on this planet, we're gonna be dying soon. It's just a fact. And it's not just about the honey, if you know anything about science or bees. It's about they pollinate plants and trees, and we can't function without plants and trees. We are all connected. All these Fortune 500 companies and these billionaires making more money because of their corporate greed, they don't understand that when you keep laying off people, it's just an example. So if you have a corporation, you keep laying off people. Let's say you work at Apple, and you keep laying off people. Who's now going to have the money to buy your Apple products? Now they won't focus on buying food, keeping a roof over their head. We are all connected. And just people don't seem to get that. But anyway, I can talk about that for a whole class. So, once again, our thoughts and our actions affect those around us, period. And vice versa. Their thoughts and their actions affect us. Some of you have had a good morning or a not so good morning based upon the people who were around you. Now, attitudes.
Evaluation.
This is not on the test. I need to say it right. I don't remember attitudes. I just made the test recently, actually last night, so I know that's not on the test. Attitudes, evaluations of people's objects, ideas, and behavior. We're always evaluating people. We're evaluating things, ideas. We're really kind of judging what we're doing. But that's what we do. Now, here's the thing. Now, this first part is about changing how other people affect us. Now, when somebody is communicating to us, there's three factors that come into play about how something is affecting us, or how something may change us, or how someone may change us. So, first of all, if someone's communicating something to us, it could be a minister or a public speaker or a politician. First of all, our attitudes will be impacted, or our attitudes may change based upon the message source. Who is the person telling us the message? Is this somebody we respect? Is this somebody we like? Is this somebody we think is attractive? Yes, sir.
Is this the first slide?
We have that. You have right now. It's at the end of the table if you need one. So, who's delivering the message has a great impact on its effect on us. If you don't respect Donald Trump, his message is not going to affect you. It's going to fall on deaf ears. But if you're a huge Trump supporter, you're all ears. You're focused. The next thing that determines our attitudes about people or things, the characteristics of the message. Meaning, does the person who's talking know what they're talking about? And this is big. Is that message that they're communicating, is it promoting fear or anger? That's extremely important. I once heard a minister talking. I said it was a YouTube video. He went to a convention. I'm not judging political parties, but he went to a Republican convention. And this convention, they were being instructed on how to speak to other fellow Republicans. They literally said, the guy as a result, he was a minister, he was like, you know what, I had to disassociate myself when I heard that message. He said they were told that when you're talking to your fellow constituents or other people in the party, You need to be doing one or two things. You need to either be making them scared. Ooh, they're coming for our jobs. They're coming to rape our girls. Make them scared, or making them angry. They're coming to replace you. That was the goal. Make them angry or make them afraid. Because when you make people angry or afraid, you can control them. You just keep feeding them the things that keep them in that heightened emotional state. People who are calm, at ease, they can think about things. Oh, that's a valid point. Oh, that's not a valid point. They're not as easily influenced. But when you get people in emotion, when they get in their feelings, and I know you've heard this before, feelings are not facts. They're feelings.
Negativity sells.
You doggone right negativity sells. Why do you think why do we have so many news networks? Why do people stay up and watch the news at night? Is the news really positive? The 11 o'clock news, is that positive? Of course not. You're right, negativity does sell. It's the weird thing. And another thing that affects our attitudes is the characteristics of the targeted people. This is going to sound, and this is from your textbook. This is not even my opinion. This is straight out of your textbook. I didn't make any of this up. When somebody's talking to an audience or a group of people, those with higher intelligence are more difficult to persuade than those with lower intelligence. I'm just saying what's in the textbook. Some people target those who are maybe not as intelligent, not as aware, they don't have as many life experiences. They're easier to convince, to promote, to manipulate, or to control. So those are ways, like I said, this chapter is all about how we influence one another, how people control other people. There you go. Whoops. Too fast. All right. I'm trying to think, is cognitive dissonance on the exam? I don't think this is on there. Cognitive dissonance. Basically, this is something everybody in this room has experienced. This is where we have a mental conflict within us with two contradictory thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes. Like two different things. The example here, yeah, I know I smoke, and it may lead to lung cancer, but I don't really smoke a lot. Or if I quit, it's just going to produce some other bad habits. I'll probably just start drinking. So you're like, it's just the cognitive dissonance is the internal battle that we experience. So that's what that means. Everybody who walked in late got one of these, right? You did there on this corner right there. Make sure everybody has one. So we all go through these mental conflicts. We go, ooh. I hate to ask this question, but I'm going to ask anyway. So when I've done group therapy with teens, especially teen boys, I always like to get an idea of their decision-making skills. So I have these hypothetical scenarios that I can set and see how they can answer. I do this with I've done this for individual clients as well. So there you are. Here's the situation. You're walking down the street. You know what? I'm gonna put you walking down the hallway here, and a fellow student, their wallet falls out of their pocket. No one else sees it fall. No one else knows it but you. You pick up the wallet. Oh my goodness, it's $500. Nobody even sees you pick it up. What are you gonna do? Are you keeping it? Or are you saying, hey, yo, you dropped your wallet? What are you gonna do? What was it?
Give it back.
Okay, give it back. Who? I'm not even gonna put you on the spot. Who's giving it back? That's all. Who? Okay, everybody go. Okay. So, but see, here's the cognitive dissonance piece. Some of you will be like, Even if you need the money, ooh, I could really use this money to get my car fixed. But no, it's not yours. That's the cognitive dissonance, that mental conflict. Another situation I would ask, I love to ask this one, I would always say, okay, there you are with your friends, and you're walking through where there's a train yard, and there's a box car that's headed to Foot Locker. It's not locked. It's full of every type of tennis shoe you could imagine, just filled to the rim. No one's around. What you doing? What do you think you and your friends are doing? Some of them are going shopping. Why do I feel like, Jackie, you'd be hard for you to walk away? I see you. Are you taking any tennis shoes?
Maybe.
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 Who's not sure if they would take sneakers or not? Okay. Who thinks they take a few? Okay. I love the honesty. Who's not doing it? Who's not taking any of the sneakers?
Oh, let's go climb a tree instead.
Who climb a tree instead?
Yeah.
But they're right there. It's a train. So I see, and I always find it interesting because there's always people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get me some sneakers.
I always wear sneakers when I'm outside.
Yeah, but where are you gonna take some that's free? Are you gonna take some off a train car that was headed toward a Foot Locker? Are you basically stealing tennis shoes?
No,
Okay, well, a lot of people would.
never.
Because I have a reason.
What are your reasons?
My reason is because I don't have enough shoes. Most of my shoes have holes in them.
So,
And because, like, you know.
see, this is what social psychology is about. This is examining why people do what they do. So for you, your justification is you don't have sneakers. You need sneakers. So does that mean that, not judging you, but does that mean that it's okay for people to do illegal things to get what they want?
Lawrenceville Co-op.
What was that?
Lawrenceville Co-op.
What was that co-op?
Co-op. You want sneakers? Go to co-op.
Oh, you mean go to Oklahoma. I mean,
Well, yeah, it's
and then some people, I don't know if there's any of you guys, some people believe in karma. Some people believe if I take something that don't belong to me, then somebody else is going to take something from me that don't belong to them. I'm just saying, some people believe in karma. I don't know if I believe in karma or not, but I don't like to take the chance. But actually, too, I just don't believe. I feel like if I really need something, somehow the universe will provide it for me at some point in time. If I just be patient and have faith, it's gonna work out. So, but that's what cognitive dissonance is. And we're moving along, 'cause like I said, we have a lot to get over quickly. Fundamental attribution error. I think that was on the test. I feel confident. So make sure you know what that was. What is that? So your textbook describes it as a tendency to over-attribute one's behavior or dispositional causes and maximize the yada yada. That's a weird difference. Basically, fundamental attribution error is when we overestimate the influence of personal traits and underestimate the influence of the situation. Well, what does that even mean? Basically, this means judging people incorrectly. So, for example, here's the situation. I don't know. You're driving in your car and you look to your side and you see somebody just stumbling and they like, they just stumbling and almost falling down. What are you thinking is going on with them? What do you think? What was it?
Vertigo.
Probably drunk. What else?
Vertigo.
Vertigo, drunk, vertigo. What else might be going on with them? Yeah, you don't really see too much. You just see them stumbling. You're like, well, they really having a problem walking.
Parkinson's disease.
Parkinson's disease. Okay, so they have a physical disability. So here's the thing. This is overestimating the influence of the traits you're looking at, but you're underestimating what really could be going on. Maybe that part of the sidewalk is just under construction and it's jacked up and it's pieces of concrete jettisoning out the ground. And there's mud and there's pebbles. And maybe they don't have the best balance in the world, and that's what's really going on. We're overestimating the traits that we're seeing and underestimating the possible influence of the situation. It's not good really to judge something just on first appearances. Just because a young lady is in church, I'm just saying anyway, on Sunday morning, how do we know what they did Saturday night? You can say, oh, this must be a good person. They're so spiritual and holy. They're in church every Sunday. What if every Saturday night they're doing a line of cocaine and just mistreating people? And, you just don't know. I would feel saying that there's probably child traffickers who've probably been in churches before. So that's what fundamental attribution error is. An error in thinking based upon what you see versus what is the reality. All right, social influence. This is the process. I usually show a really good video of this, but we don't have time. I do have some other videos I'm going to show you in a few minutes. Social influence, the process by which social groups and individuals exert pressure on an individual, either deliberately or intentionally. Now, the group needs to have at least 2 or more people. There's a very famous experiment called the Ash conformity experiment.
Conformity.
That's not on the test, the Ash conformity, I don't believe. Conformity is basically you going along with everybody else.
Change
With
your
people's
behavior.
beliefs, what they say, what they do. This one particular Ash conformity experiment, they got people to agree with the group, even though the group was wrong. Let me show you the experiment. Like I said, I can show you the actual video. Okay, but this is a picture from the experiment. So on your far left, you see a standard line. That's what they call it. And then you have comparison lines. So they would have a group of people, let's say 6 people sitting in a room. Now, you know what, I'm gonna get 5 people. 5 people are sitting in the room. The 5 people have been told to answer the question the same. What is the question? The question is, which one of those lines, 1, 2, or 3, is the closest to the standard line? So, what do you got? Which one is the closest to the standard line? 1, 2, or 3?
2.
2? Okay. In the experiment, those 5 people who've agreed to say, oh, the line that's most similar is line 3. They've all agreed. So now you bring somebody into the room who don't know what's going on. And then the person who's doing the experiment literally asks each individual, which one is the same? The first person goes, line 3. The next person, 3, line 3. The new person who walked in the room was just like you're saying 3, so I guess I'll say 3, 3, 2. The majority of the time, people agree with the group even though they are wrong. Let me go back. About 1/3 of the trials, that means 1/3 of the individuals agreed. They were like, yeah, I'm going with everybody else. That's about us being reluctant to go against the group. That's what this experiment showed. This is not everybody, it's just 1/3, that's not everybody. But they were willing to, because sometimes we don't want to stand out. We don't want to go against the grain. It's really kind of a form of peer pressure. Many times, teenagers especially have did drugs or smoked a joint. They didn't really want to. Everybody else was doing it. So they did. They didn't want to stand out. They didn't want to risk judgment. They didn't want to risk being ridiculed, being made fun of. That's what conformity does. It makes people go along to do things. And the problem with, on a bigger scale, this is why sometimes people do evil things, or people will do something evil because they were told. And I'm going to show you a really good example of that. Okay, so I have no idea if this is on the test. I don't know. People were more likely to conform in that experiment, or people are not even just that experiment, but people are more likely to conform if 1, they admire the group's status, like, oh, well, those are the popular kids, or those people have money. That's the wealthy people. Or if they find the group attractive. I know that seems shallow, but people will conform to an attractive group. I guess because they want to feel like they too can be one of the beautiful people. Like, I mean, it makes sense to me. If it was in high school, if this group of 8 kids are really attractive, these guys, girls, everybody acknowledges these people are really attractive, and this group is considered not so attractive, who do you think is going to have more influence over somebody? Which group is somebody people typically going to want to hang out with? Be attractive? We're humans sometimes. We can be really shallow. It's true. We can be really shallow. Whether it's physical appearance or women wanting guys who make 6 figures, yeah, we can be really shallow. Another reason people are likely to conform is when the individual has to respond publicly. Meaning you have to speak out. Like in that experiment with the lines, the person has to share, they have to verbally say what they think. And you don't want to risk embarrassment. So when you got to respond in public, people tend to say things a little different. Another reason people might conform is because they have no answer for themselves. Like they really don't know. Like, people, I don't really know the answer. So that's just, I'm gonna go with everybody else. I don't know. And then lastly, people are likely to conform when the group, everybody else in the group agrees. We don't like standing out sometimes. And some of us do, most of us don't. Okay, groupthink, clearly it's not underlined, but groupthink is really just when the group makes the priority of everybody agreeing, even if it isn't realistic or doesn't make sense. So politics has a ton of groupthink. This is groupthink, once again, is everybody thinking the same, even if it doesn't make sense. Try to think of an example. I hate to go political again, but politics is just in the news so much. Because the Republican Party is in control, all 3 branches, they've been saying things like, the illegal immigrants who are here are criminals and part of drug cartels. They really kind of make it like they're all here illegally, and they're all part of drug cartels, and they're dangerous people, and they're people who are here to go after our girls, and they were in prison. Mexico released their prisoners on us. The groupthink of that political party, everybody says the same thing, and they agree. That's the groupthink. That doesn't sound really, that's not even possible that everybody here illegal is part of a drug cartel. That's not realistic. It can't be. Yes,
Mr. Jones, you know about other immigrants, the other immigrants that come from the same countries that are not part of the cartels? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, a lot of people have come from other countries to either a chance to having a better life.
Yeah, that's what
to escape persecution.
Yes.
Death, losing loved ones. They come here to live. Most of them are not. But groupthink is all about everybody agreeing, even if it doesn't make sense. That's what groupthink is.
Where is that on here?
Groupthink? But groupthink is not on the test.
Oh.
That's why it's not on there. Like I said, stuff is underlined is, probably on the test. If it's not, I just think it's important to address the subject of groupthink. Because some of you might be with a group of people, and they all gonna agree, yeah, let's all put all our money together and buy that new product, and but that don't make sense. Okay, foot in the door technique. This is on the test, so make sure you circle that. Once again, this is all about getting people to comply. This is about controlling people. This is about influencing people. This is a part of social psychology. Foot in the door technique is the tendency for people who have first agreed to a small request to comply later to a larger request. So what would that look like?
Tendency for people.
Maybe you've experienced this. I'm just gonna use that. You got a friend, he calls you up on Saturday. Yo, So in my apartment, I had this really big table. I need to
First
move
degree.
from one room to another. Can you come over and help me move the table?
First.
And you're like, cool, I'm about to go out anyway. I'll be there in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So you come there, you move the table, and he says, oh, while you're here, I got a whole bunch of stuff in storage. I need to get out and bring it over. Can you help me with that? That's foot in the door technique. They asked originally for something small, just helping to move the table. And now it becomes a much larger request. Now it's about going to a storage unit, pulling stuff out the storage unit, bringing it back to their house, maybe taking up flights of stairs. That's what foot in the door technique. People do it. Sometimes people do it on purpose. Sometimes people do it accidentally. They didn't realize. They're like, oh, here, maybe I can do this too. But some people did it on purpose. They know, I'm just asking. I know if I say, can you help me get stuff out of my storage unit, they're gonna be like, oh, I have time for that. I got stuff I gotta do. I don't think most of us like going to storage units on Saturday mornings to move furniture. Maybe it's ours. Now, there's some other techniques that I think are pretty funny. The door in the face technique. That's the opposite. That's where you ask for a large task and then you just settle for a small one. But sometimes people do that on purpose too. So say, for example, you need some money. So I'm gonna ask so-and-so, I'm gonna ask my dad for money. You know that he don't like giving you money, but he might. So you start out, you ask for a big request. You go, yo, Dad, can I borrow $100? You know he's probably gonna say no, but in reality, you didn't want $100. You really only wanted 20. So you ask 100. He goes, I'm not giving you $100. All right, okay. What about 50? I'll give you 50. Can you at least give me 20? All right, here you go, son. Here's 20. Asked for a large thing, and then it came a small thing. That's the door in the face technique. Once again, you try. This is about manipulating. I hate to say it, it's about manipulating. It's about controlling. It's about compliance. Then there's the that's not all technique. That's the commercial. You see those commercials, but wait, there's more. I know y'all seen those commercials, right? They're like, hey, get these pots and pans, get these skillets, get this. But wait, there's more. For no extra cost, we're gonna give you twice. We're gonna give you another one absolutely free. Once again, that's all about manipulation. That's about making you an offer that now you just can't refuse. What? I get two? I get a bonus one for the same price? But wait, there's more. I also get a free set of knives? I can't, I got it. Fine, you got my money. These are all, that's the technique they use in advertising.
First agree to a small request.
Yes.
To comply later with a larger request.
What was that?
What if you put off the TV before you get to that?
Yeah, but are you gonna really do that? Because once the commercial starts, it might be something you're interested in. I mean, what if it's, I don't know, you might be looking for a nice new leather jacket for the winter, or maybe you do need some new pots and pans at your house. Maybe those skillets, the eggs always getting stuck in there. You're like, this skillet, your eggs will not stick. But wait, we'll give you a matching pot and a smaller pan too. Oh wait, there's more. How about this free oven mitt? That's what I gotta do it. I gotta do it now.
And only for 7 cents more.
For seven, or nothing more.
Obedience.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. I want to show you.
Change
I
of
think I may
behavior
show
in
you
response
this
to the
video.
commands of
So
others.
obedience is being willing to do a change in behavior based upon the commands of others. In other words, following commands. Let me see if I want to show this video. I'll probably show it. So there's this guy, this researcher named Stanley Milgram. He did an experiment to see how far people would go to hurt another human being. Basically, participants were willing to give electric shock to another person simply because They were following orders. They were being obedient. 65% of the people who participated used the highest voltage, 450 volts. I'm gonna show you that. I think I'm gonna pull up the actual video. So here's what it looked like. One person would be the teacher. That's what they labeled. The other person would be the learner. And the learner would be in another room. And the teacher would speak into the mic and ask the learner a question, like, where is Chicago? Chicago in the Midwest, or where is it located? If they got the answer wrong, they were supposed to push a button and give the person an electric shock. And every time they got a wrong answer, they had to up the voltage. So the question comes, did people really agree to do that? To continue raising the voltage and give electric shock to another person because they gave a wrong answer? 65% of the participants did exactly that. Now, give me a moment. I will show you the exact video of what I'm saying. Like, this is the actual video. Let's see. I know I was gonna show this one, otherwise I would have had it ready for it, but it's real short. It's only 2 minutes. Now, before I go any further, I should tell you, the guy in the other room getting the electric shock, the learner, he was an actor. So he's not really getting electrocuted. But the point is, could you get somebody to do what they know is or believe is causing harm to another human being? Okay. This is only 2 minutes, but this is the actual experiment.
A decade earlier, psychologist Stanley Milgram had also looked at how we respond to authority. In order to understand how people were induced to obey unjust regimes and participate in atrocities such as the Holocaust, he set up an experiment. Volunteers were told they were taking part in scientific research to improve memory.
You open those and tell me what you do with
Separated by a screen, the teacher would ask the learner questions in a word game and administer an electric shock when the answer was incorrect. He was told to increase the voltage with each wrong answer.
cloud, horse, rock, house. Answer. Wrong. 150 volts. Answer, horse. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. You're trying to require you to continue. Please continue.
Participants didn't know that the learner was really an actor, and the so-called shocks harmless.
You're gonna get a shot. 180 volts. I'm not gonna go out there. Who's gonna take responsibility when you have to say, no, I'm responsible for anything that happens here. Continue, please. Alright, next is slow. Walk, dance, truck, music.
Two-thirds of volunteers were prepared to administer a potentially fatal electric shock when encouraged to do so by what they perceived as a legitimate authority figure. In this case, a man in a white coat.
375 volts. I think something happened to that phone then. How do you miss it? He was hollering all his phone you. And check it to see if he already.
Milgram's findings horrified America. They showed that decent American citizens were as capable of committing acts against their conscience as the Germans had been under the Nazis.
Meet Gym Monster 2, your all-in-one smart home gym.
All right, so there you have it. There's the actual experiment that the average person was willing to electroshock somebody just because a guy in a white lab coat told him to do it. And the point of this study, one of the things they mentioned at the end, they talked about the Nazis, is that you had Nazi soldiers who were willing to do what they did to other people because they were told to, because they were ordered to, whether it was firing squad, putting people in gas chambers, whatever it is, they were following orders. And kind of in a way, we kind of see that now with the agents who are on the street allegedly picking up all these evil people from other countries. They're doing they're breaking glass windows and roughing up people. They're willing to comply because that's what their order said to do. So yes, 65% were okay with giving the person the electric shock. All right, that's more of the experiment. And now you will need to know the difference between these three: prejudice, discrimination, and stereotype. Now, the word prejudice, if you break down that word, it's two words. What are the two words?
Pre-justice.
Pre-justice. It's to prejudge. When you are showing prejudice, you're prejudging somebody. And typically, it could be positive. You could, I guess, be prejudiced to somebody. But basically, it's typically a negative attitude or evaluation of a group or the individuals who make up that group. So here's the thing, remember this: prejudice is an attitude. Discrimination is a behavior. To discriminate to somebody is to do something directly toward the individual based upon them belonging to a particular group. So a person can be prejudiced. They could be like, you know what? I think all black people are lazy. So that's an attitude. That's a way of thinking. That's a thought. Now, to discriminate is to now follow the black person through the store and not the white person. Your actions, your behavior, you're treating them differently because of that person's race. That's the difference. Prejudice is just an attitude. It's just a way of thinking. You're entitled to think the way you want to think. That's fine. But now your behavior, if an employer is looking to hire somebody and he gets somebody in and he realizes, oh, that person is from the Middle East. I don't like people from the Middle East. I'm gonna kick them out of my office now. Because I'm not giving them a job because I don't trust them. People from the Middle East are all terrorists. That behavior, you're discriminating. And a lot of this prejudice behavior, the thoughts, the discrimination of behavior, a lot of it's often a result of stereotypes. And stereotypes are generalized beliefs and expectations about a group and the people in the group. Stereotypes, I guess some can be true. I mean, I guess you can stereotype, and let me think of a stereotype that might be true. Younger people are more athletic than older people. I'm stereotyping, because I'm sure there are some older people who are just as athletic as younger people. I'm stereotyping, but that's not a harmful stereotype. Unfortunately, a lot of stereotypes are very negative and could be harmful.
Mr. Jones, what would happen if the discrimination would come to an end? People will learn to respect people of their race, gender, and language, and
we would have a happier world.
Yeah.
That's what would happen if we got rid of discrimination and prejudice. Yes.
Yeah, but never be harmed, never would never want to kill them at all.
That would be awesome. Now, personally, this is just my belief. This is just me. I don't know whether you believe in God or not, but I personally believe that we are not accidents. I believe there's something, a divine energy, a force, something that created everything. And whatever that is which created us, I believe that we were all purposefully designed to be different so that we would have the opportunity to practice, to accept, and care about one another unconditionally. Now, We may not be doing well on this test, but I think that's by design. Because we could probably get along so much better if we all looked exactly alike. Imagine, we're all the same race, we're all the same height, we're all the same weight, we're like zebras, we all look exactly the same.
Oh, don't worry, we'll find a reason.
What was that?
We'll find a
We
reason.
probably would. We'd be like, that hair is slightly out of place to the left. That's
I mean,
fine.
literally just look at the Slavs. Like, Poles and Russians, I think, are only different genetically by like 1%, and they hate each other.
And see, and that's my point about, I believe it is possible that the creator, if there's such a thing, purposely, like I said, wanted to give us an opportunity to see if can we accept people being different and still care about them. Like I said, I don't know how well we're doing. Now, I'm gonna show you a video. I said some stereotypes can not necessarily be negative, but there's a guy, he's about to run through 50 of the most racist stereotypes he can find. I'm gonna give you a heads up right now. Warning, some of his language or words you might find a little uncomfortable. Give you the heads up now. I can tell you right now, whatever race you are, whatever gender you are, he's gonna say something about you. Everybody in this room is going to get mentioned in his rant. But the whole point of this rant is not that what he believes, he's trying to make a point about the ridiculousness of racial stereotypes, okay? So my apologies in advance if anybody's offended. Like I said, he's making a point. Also, he's going to drop an F-bomb. We're all adults here. You've heard the F word before. He's gonna drop an F-bomb. And then he's also going to use the more vulgar slang for penis. The more street name.
Cock.
He's not even a little bit more than that. That's funny. He's just doing that. Okay, that's funny. Okay, so let me show you this video. Right? And he also at the end he says BS, except he doesn't say BS.
What was those silliness?
He says, but once again, this is about making a point, and he's trying to make a point. And by the way, some of these stereotypes, they're so ridiculous, you might even find yourself laughing. I'm just, so it's okay. Don't feel bad if you laugh. But just know that these are some very over-the-top, 50 racist stereotypes. We can leave the light on for this, because this is really more about what he's going to say than what you're seeing.
Onto groups of people based on their race, nationality, stereotypes of qualities assigned to groups of people based on their race, nationality, sexual orientation, and many other factors. The problem with stereotypes is that they overgeneralize groups of people. This causes individuals to discriminate against others and ignore the diversity within groups of people. In other words, stereotypes are stupid. So here's a list of the dumbest stereotypes that I can find. Let's go. All gay men have HIV. All gay people were molested. All gay men are pedophiles. All gay people know each other. All gay men are fashion designers and interior decorators. All white people are racist. White people can't dance. All white women have eating disorders. White women with blonde hair are stupid. White people don't know how to raise their kids. All Asian people eat cats and dogs. Every Asian person on earth knows Kung Fu. Asians can't drive. All Asians have small dicks. Every Asian owns a dry cleaning business and a nail salon. Every Asian on earth is a genius. Black people are criminals. Black people are stupid. All black men are addicted to sex. Black people are ghetto. All black women are mean and angry. Every Mexican on earth owns a donkey. White people are perfect. Every single Arab and Muslim on earth is a terrorist. All Jews are greedy and evil. Irish people are alcoholics and they love potatoes. All Jamaicans smoke weed. Every single person from India owns and works at a 7-Eleven. All Cubans smoke cigars. All Italians are in the mafia. All Germans are Nazis. Brazilian women have big butts. Black women want to be white. White men are serial killers. All Russians are assassins or hitmen. Black people love fried chicken and watermelon. All black people are athletic. 98% of the Hispanics on earth
are gardeners. All black people are in gangs. White people smell like wet dogs. All white people let dogs lick them in the mouth. All Mexicans are named Pablo. Africans live in huts and eat zebra burgers. Every black person on earth has been to prison. All white people are trailer trash rednecks. All Latinos are thieves. White women are addicted to plastic surgery. All black men have big dicks. All Egyptian women are belly dancers. Native Americans are alcoholic gamblers. Stereotypes are complete bullshit. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Do you think stereotypes are accurate or do you think they're stupid? What do you think? Did I miss any stereotypes? Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Peace.
All right.
Did before now.
I don't think anybody's race got left out, right? Nobody. I think he covered everybody in the room somehow, some way. Yes, Jay.
Equality.
What was that? Equality, right? He crossed the board, like equality. There you go. Get the stereotypes about everybody out. Yes.
You can never offend me with stereotypes. They're hilarious.
They're hilarious.
Stupid.
That's awesome. That means you don't take it personally. But some people do. They do take it personally.
That guy was African American.
Pardon me?
That guy was African American.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was African American. So that's why he mentioned some of the stereotypes about African Americans.
How do you suffocate a blonde? Put a scratch and sniff sticker at the bottom of the pool.
That's bad. See, that's kind of like a racist joke. But the stereotype right there is that blondes are stupid. That's
But that's the best one. A scratch and sniff sticker? Do you remember that?
I remember that. That's old school. I remember that. So that's like he said at the end. Those type of stereotypes is stupid. Like stereotype. First of all, you can't use the word all. I mean, you can, but there is no all. You can't say all Asians are good in math because they're all not good. Like you can't. It's not true.
Yeah, that guy was African American talking about his own religion and his own ethnicity.
Yeah, his ethnicity, yes. He mentioned his own people. He mentioned everybody. He said he found the 50th most racist things he could find, and that's the ones he put in the video.
But he's not a racist?
He's just making a point. His point is that they're bad, and they're not necessary. Yes, Shane?
This is more targeting like race rather than sex or religion.
Say that again?
This is more targeting race than sex or religion or anything, because I know it's not just race, it's discrimination.
That's wrong.
Yeah, race, sex, religion, like we're always, like I mentioned earlier, we keep denying how much we're connected, but we have this gang mentality, and we're always trying to divide ourselves from each other.
We just look at the similarities instead of the differences.
Which is probably not the most helpful.
Similarities?
No, I'm saying looking at the differences. We should be looking at our similarities. What makes us all human? We all really want the same things. Let's be honest. We all want to be happy. We all want to be healthy. We all want to have a good life. I don't care what race you are, what religion you are, your sexual orientation. We all want the same things, basically. But we get so caught up with this gang mentality, we all want to be on the winning team. So we think our college football team is the best. We think our pro NBA team is the best. We think our religion is the one true religion. We think our political party is the political party that should be existing and controlling everything. We're constantly dividing ourselves into these little groups, this little hive mind, this gang mentality thing. And division weakens us. It does. It just weakens us. We're stronger together than we could ever be apart. Whether it's a family, a community, a city, a state, a nation, we're stronger together. When stuff happens, we all got to get with our own little special groups. Stereotyping, worst case scenario, prejudice can lead to aggression. Because then you have people flying planes into buildings in the name of a god. Aggression and aggression against citizens of different ethnic races creates racism, which can turn into terrorism. Terrorism is rooted in fear. According to Yoda, fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. He's older than me. Yoda, you know some wisdom there. Because that's what happens when you get all this hatred and all this aggression and terror. You're going to have people who are going to be hurt. You're going to have people who are going to suffer. A lot of times it's going to be children and innocent people who are going to be most of the suffering. Foundation of prejudice. I don't know. Where do you guys think? Where does prejudice come from? Prejudging. Where does that come from? How do people?
Exaggerating misinformation.
Okay. And where is the source of that exaggerated information? Where do we get this?
Oh well, the easiest stereotype is an alcoholic, right? So one might picture an alcoholic as ripped up, dirty clothes under a bridge with a bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not always what an alcoholic looks like.
I agree. Sometimes it can be an executive at a Fortune 500
So
company.
by prejudging what one sees may trigger something I learned in the past by someone somewhere else or some incident that reminds me of this, but because I am not properly informed about the health and management and life of this particular person, my brain does exaggerate because I don't have the right information.
And why don't you have the right information? Like who could have given you the right information, but maybe didn't? I mean, we've all seen people who maybe have an alcohol issue, or we've seen people who are drunk, and we reach conclusions and have thoughts about that person. But why do we automatically assume that a person who's drunk is just being stupid and they're worthless? Why couldn't it be that person, I don't know, has schizophrenia? Why couldn't it be that person is really having a tough time dealing with loss? Maybe they lost their spouse and their mother all in 1 year, and they're just drinking to cope. We don't know what anybody is going through. But we make those judgments that we think we know. I told you guys earlier in this year, like we were in the first couple of days, there is always more that you don't know about a person than that which you do.
People do bad and evil things for logical reasons.
Of course, people can justify anything. And so, but we shouldn't, nobody in here knows the struggles and trials that your fellow classmates have gone through. You just don't know. Bless you. And then to make an assumption that this person is like that, or that person look conceited. I know they conceited. You don't know if that person's conceited. Just because they walk confidently, you don't know why maybe they've been through a whole lot and they just felt like this is the best way to navigate the world. So in other words, one of the foundations of prejudice could be just pure ignorance. We're going on that example, not just the ignorance of not knowing somebody or not knowing what alcoholism can do to a person. Where else might we learn to be prejudiced from? Where? You say parents? Absolutely. Absolutely. Our parents are our first, those are the people who first influence us. If you have parents who are racist, you might, until you start learning to think for yourself, you might adopt some of those same racist views.
I think empathy plays a big role in this too, because
empathy or lack thereof?
Lack of empathy.
Okay.
It's up to you to care. It really is. Your parents can teach you, but it's up to you to really.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Sometimes prejudice can come from deciding to imitate the behavior of adults who are modeling for us. Like there are people who, like we see, I mean, now we see politicians who will use profanity, who will name call. It's amazing. Like I just didn't remember seeing this before when I was younger. And so other people think, well, I see them doing it, our leaders, so I should be able to be on the street and be ignorant too. How many videos are on YouTube of road rage in situations?
So like driving the car when I was young with my mom, if there were like homeless people in the streets asking for money on the signs and everything, when the lights stop, the red lights, they all walk out, right?
Mm-hmm.
My mom would always be so frantic, be like, lock the doors, they're gonna ask for money. And so it puts that in my head that that particular look is scary.
Right. So now,
When you don't know, they could just have, you know, not be able to mentally maintain a job.
Exactly. And now she's creating this level of fear.
Or have a
and
home to go
paranoia.
back to shower so they can't go to work because you don't want to go to work dirty. But then if you do, there's no home to go home to. Where are you gonna wash your clothes so you can go back to work the next
Yep.
day smelling good again?
Everybody has a story. All of us. All you guys have a story. And people don't know your story.
Something I'm curious to know, do you know why she has that?
Why, wait, say it again?
Why is she
Why?
Why does she have that paranoia, that fear at the light?
Maybe she had a legitimate bad
See?
experience
You
with
don't know
that.
the story.
Like I
That's what
said
I
earlier,
said.
people do wrong things for logical reasons.
That's very good. That's the point. We don't know their story. If something traumatic happened to her, yeah, I'm sure she gonna have a heightened sense of awareness in that situation. Yeah, exactly. When we're talking about imitating the behavior of adult models, this is one reason, this is just me personally, I am so not a fan of the reality shows like Real Housewives of whatever city you want to pick, stuff like that. Because all that shows is, I don't watch, but from what I can recall, there's a lot of women flaunting their money, their wealth, they're trying to party, but also having these attitudes and being aggressive and yelling and cursing and ready to fight. Like, I feel like those reality shows, when those started coming out, I started to see more and more aggressive behavior from females. This is just my opinion. I started to see more and more. And then they've been out for years now. I think Housewives of Atlanta, I don't even know how long ago that came out. That might have been 15 years ago. But then you see all that drama, and now people watching on. So now it's not uncommon to see women sometimes going after being as aggressive as men. Just my opinion.
Sorry, I thought came on.
Men-
I'm sorry if it's stupid. But I thought came to mind. So what if, with your mom when she said lock doors and all that? I was taking that example and I was thinking about it. What if I use that, let's say we use that, right? And take that with every single stereotype that was created. What if the person, whoever that may be, that started the stereotype itself, what if they had a traumatic experience and they passed that, am I making sense?
No, they pass it on. Yeah, definitely.
No.
Excuse me.
And they
What-
passed, yeah,
And they pass it on to their kids. Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Of course they can have it. Let me put it this way. If
Some of that pure survival instinct though.
if let's say a Hispanic person went into a predominantly white neighborhood when they were like 23, 24, and they got beat up really badly. That experience is now planted in them. So now they may feel like they now can't trust white people. Now, that's a blanket statement because you got beat up by those 4, 5, 6 people. You didn't get beat up by every person that is correct.
But most
But
people.
so now,
Right.
you may have kids one day and tell your kids, don't ever go into an all-white neighborhood by yourself, because they can't be trusted. Yes.
Mr. Jones, men who are teen boys can be victims of bullying, can they?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Men who are teen boys can be victims of bullying, but
They often are.
but bullies can get in trouble or get sent straight to detention.
Sometimes.
Or suspended.
Sometimes they get away with it.
Or suspended.
Or suspended.
Or expelled.
Or expelled, yes. Bullies can get caught, and I can't speak for every male in here, but typically, being a male, I don't know if ladies, if you experienced it this much, but typically as a male, it's really hard to get through life and you never got bullied.
Yeah, and once those bullies get expelled.
I'm just saying, I don't know if any gentleman in here wants to say if you were never bullied or taunted. I can't imagine that, but it's almost like this whole, I ain't gonna call it a rite of passage, but it just seems like it happens. Like, I mean, I've had young clients who are males, 12, 13-year-old, and maybe they get bullied or get teased, or somebody be trying to do something with a teacher. I'm looking at, sometimes I wanted to say, unfortunately, I mean, I try to help them, support them through it, but it happens all the time.
Yeah, and another thing, Mr. Jones, when the bullies get expelled, they attempt to apologize but never get forgiven, and they get sent straight to prison.
Bullies tend to apologize, so let's start there. I've never encountered situations where the bullies apologize without being forced to do so. Like, you want to get back in school, you gotta apologize. I've never seen bullies. Now, maybe when they get older and they realize their behavior was immature, and they see that person, whether an adult, they're like, you know what, I'm sorry. When we were back in high school, I was just unnecessarily mean. I'm sorry about that. But down the road, they may apologize, but not within the time frame of the bullying. I have to continue. I'm sorry. Hold that thought. You can ask me after class.
But they never get forgiven for that? But they never get forgiven for that?
Every situation is different, just like everybody is different. Some other foundation of prejudice could also include the media. The media is a very big component for creating prejudice. When they do movies or TV shows, there's a lot of stereotyping that happens on TV shows and movies. You see a lot of Italians who are in the mafia, just saying. Okay, we're gonna skip that. Skip that too. You know, we're gonna end on an upbeat, happy note. We have talked about racism, prejudice, stereotyping. Let's talk about love and relationships. That's good stuff, right? You guys like this stuff? We get positive. So, when it comes to liking somebody, loving somebody, there are certain things that people who study social psychology, their research have pointed out certain things. For example, the research shows that there are 4 primary reasons why you are attracted to somebody. Number 1, proximity, meaning people who are around you. That's a reason why you might be attracted to somebody, because you're around them often. Maybe they're in your class. Maybe you work with them. Maybe they live in your neighborhood. Maybe they live next door. So because you keep seeing somebody, it could kind of increase the likelihood of maybe you developing feelings for them. I'm sure a lot of you in this room developed feelings or crush for somebody in high school, a classmate. Now, whether you ever told that classmate is another, that's something totally different, because nobody likes to feel embarrassed, and nobody wants to be rejected. So you may have just kept that feeling. I'm touching some nerves over here with you. But it makes sense that you would be attracted to people who are geographically close to you. And that ties in with mere exposure. When you're exposed to somebody, when you're around them a lot, you could be attracted to them. I remember being in college. I forgot what the class was, but there was a young lady who sat next to me. Because she's right there, I had feelings for her, but I did increasingly become more and more attracted to her. Similarity. Now, this is when we talked about do opposites attract. And some people say yes, some people say no. But in reality, the research shows that when people are similar to us, it increases the likelihood of us being attracted. Now, I'm not saying they have to be clones of us, but typically if they have similar attitudes or values, we will be attracted to them.
Or roots?
Hmm?
Roots?
What do you mean roots?
I recently found out that my grandfather was born in Czech, and I've always been really attracted to like Russian, Czech, Slovakian, like that, like Norwegian kind of, I don't know, like the German, I don't know, but, and in my old age, I'm wondering if it's because it's my roots.
It could be. It could be. Maybe you had a positive experience with somebody else from that background. I don't know. I mean, but yeah, similarity. I mean, in the Bible, not to be a Bible quote, but in the Bible it says, "Be ye equally yoked." It just kind of means you gotta have some stuff in common. Like you typically, if you believe in God, and this other person worships Satan, y'all probably not equally yoked. That's probably not gonna work out. I'm just saying that's probably not gonna work out. So you need to be similar on that situation. You need to be kind of similar. If one person is very materialistic, they're all about money, 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 and this other person is about serving and being a good person, that's probably not gonna work either. But two people who are into charity, that could make them attracted to one. You need some similarities, at least when it comes to values and attitudes. And then finally, if we just go superficial, people are attracted to each other because of their physical appearance. Let's be honest. I mean, unless you're blind, that's going to be what you see first. What somebody looks like. You're going to it's funny, you're going to make assumptions about them based upon their appearance. Because we do it all the time. I think he could see. I think she thinks she is that. That she's attractive. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not.
Stereotyping?
That is stereotyping. Because some people think, I remember when I was in college, when I was in undergrad, I remember one of my friends, we were in one of my friends' dorm rooms, and they were teasing me. They were like, Frank always goes for these super attractive women. Not really, it was just people I was attracted to, and if I had the nerve, I would at least say hi. And they called me shooting out of my league. That's what they claim, shooting out of my league. But, okay, but what's wrong with, because here's the thing, a lot of people who society views as really attractive, sometimes people aren't approaching them. And if they are, they might be jerks. I'm not a jerk, so. I can tell you, I mean, I'm not bragging, but if I start with college on, even to my wife, I've dated some really attractive people. Not that I went for them, it was just, I was nice, they were nice to me, whatever, and it just worked out. You about to say something? So, and then there's something called reciprocity. This is not on your test. I don't know about the 4 things why people are attracted to one another. I can't remember if that's on the test. I think it might be. Reciprocity of liking effect is not. And what that is, when it comes to being attracted to somebody, there is a tendency to like people, this is shocking, who like us.
Concept.
I know it's an amazing concept. I know, it's crazy. Liking people who like us. I mean, it's great. I mean, sometimes we don't. Sometimes somebody really got it for us, and we just don't feel the same way. That happens. But sometimes when somebody likes you, you're like, wow, that's really kind of cool. They thought about me, they did something nice for me. I had one of the biggest crushes ever. I had a crush on a girl, 7th grade and 8th grade. A 2-year crush on this girl. Because she did something nice for me. All she did, one day, I remember this so vividly. We were on the way to PE. You know how you tie your shoestrings together and you throw them over your shoulder? Some of you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. And so I did that. And so we're about to go to PE. And the knot is so tight, I can't get it. And the rest of the class is filing out the classroom. And I'm the only one there. And then this girl, her name was Veronica. She's like, you having some problems? Let me see if I can help you. And she got the knot out. I literally had a thing for her for the next 2 years. Because she did something nice for me. But now I feel like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not exaggerating. I promise you. And I was too shy to really like say anything. Hey, can I be your boyfriend? I didn't have that kind of courage. So I'm just saying that I didn't have that kind of courage. But yeah, ironically, I got her number. I saw her on Facebook and spoke to her for the first time since we were kids. She had no idea. She said, "You had a crush on me?" I was like, "Oh my God, for 2 years." She said, "I didn't know." It's amazing. People just don't know. We had a really interesting conversation. She's like, "I don't remember that." She didn't even remember. She didn't even remember doing it. She set the stereotype. Like after that, girls who look like her were the ones who I was attracted to. She was super skinny and super hairy. That's what I really remember. I mean, she had like hair all over her arms. She was 7th grade. She had long hair. I'm just being honest. Just being totally honest. All right. Let's see. This might be a good stopping point. Okay. So let me check something out right quick.
Mr. Jones?
Okay, great. We will be able to do a pretty decent review activity on Thursday because Thursday is the last day of class. So before you leave, I'm going to make the announcements now that I didn't make at the beginning because a lot of you will hear that. As I mentioned, Thursday is the last day. By the way, I'm just curious. When it comes to review activity, I'm going to throw this out. I just want to see, one of the review activities I do for this chapter is Family Feud. Now, I'm just wondering, do you guys, or we could do crossword puzzle, we could do both. Or you guys have any preference or anything?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, both sounds nice.
Okay, so I'll tell you about how Family Feud works, but it's 2 different parts, but gonna need a lot of people to play. I mean, a lot of people. It's not just the families. It's gonna be some other people, but I'll explain over there. Okay, so we're gonna play Family Feud, and we'll do the crossword puzzle. If we don't finish it, we'll be able to take it home. Okay. So next announcement. Don't forget your last quizzes, chapter 13 and 14, are due December 1st. That's the first day of finals. The next day, the 2nd, is your final in this room, which once again is covering 4 chapters. Chapter 11, 12, 13, and 14. Basically, because I just made the test last night, is 10 questions from each chapter. Make it simple, nothing fancy. If you need to make up a test, if you know you missed a test, you can take it after you take the final. It's not a requirement, it's just up to you. It could affect your grade if you got a 0 because you didn't miss the test. I would recommend going ahead and taking that. All right?
So is Tuesday our, wait, hold on.
After Thanksgiving.
After
So
Thanksgiving.
Thursday we're gonna finish this chapter, do our review activities, and then happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And then you come back that Tuesday for your final after Thanksgiving.
The Tuesday is the final, so not
Yep.
the 4th, the 2nd?
The 2nd. That's Tuesday, right? The 2nd?
Yeah.
Yep, that's the final.
So wait, this Thursday is the finals.
This Thursday is the last time we're going to be together.
So is that,
Except
are we
for
gonna
the final.
finish this?
We're gonna finish that and do a review activity. Yep, or review activities. That's why we're going quickly to make sure we can get through this chapter. There's a lot of stuff. Normally, this chapter normally requires 3 full days to discuss, show all the videos. The videos I didn't show, like this normally 3 full days. Matter of fact, there's a video probably gonna start the class with on Thursday that I really want you to see. Now I'm gonna show it. It's called the bystander effect. It might shock you and make you really think, what's wrong with people? But I'm gonna show that.
I know exactly what that effect is.
Okay, yeah.
You do?
Yep.
Yeah, he knows. It's and that is a question on the test, but we'll get to the bystander effect because that's once again social psychology. Does anybody have any questions about anything? And don't forget. Yeah. Okay. I'm good. Yes.
Just need the sheet that everybody.
There's one there. There's one there.
And the day
Wherever you see one laying around, you can grab one.
And the day after tomorrow is the final practice review for the final test.
That is our plan. That is our plan.
Awesome.
All right. Any other questions? All right, having said that, have a great rest of the day. The weather should be warming up out there. And hopefully I'll see everybody on Thursday.